Chiefs are in the pistol. On first down, a play fake of a shovel. And now a throw. Kelsey's wide open. If he can find the ball, he finds it. Touchdown, Kansas City.
That was a 29-yard touchdown by Travis Kelce, the last time the Chiefs faced the Packers back in 2019. Hoping to see a few more of those on Sunday as Kansas City looks to make it 2 in a row. Hey everyone, and welcome into our game preview this week presented by Crown Royal. My name is Matt McMullen, and this week we're joined by Kevin Clark of The Ringer. He's going to help us break down Chiefs and Packers. Kevin, what's up, man?
I'm glad to be here. Slow news week, I think.
Yeah, not so much. Just a few hours ago, we heard the craziest news of the week, and that's that Aaron Rodgers is not going to play here in this game. Obviously changes the whole complexion of this matchup. Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Enter Jordan Love now at quarterback, second-year player out of Utah State. I want to ask you about Jordan here. Only 7 passing attempts in his career, hasn't played a whole lot. But what do you know about Jordan Love? What do you think about him? And how will this Packers offense operate, do you think, with Jordan Love at quarterback?
It's been the biggest mystery in the Packers organization. What is this going to look like? Because everybody was talking about it for 6 months when it looked like Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to be the quarterback of Green Bay in 2021. What can Jordan Love bring to the table? He's a raw prospect. He had 17 interceptions in 2019, his last year at Utah State, but he had a lot of talent. And I think that it'll be fascinating. Listen, there's no way that Matt LaFleur and Nathaniel Hackett and those guys didn't have ideas in their mind over what the Jordan Love offense is going to look like in June or July when we didn't know if Aaron Rodgers was going to show up on July 28th or July 29th, right? So they've been thinking about that. They're not going to be caught flat-footed, but the difference is going to be stark. I mean, there's Aaron Rodgers and there's everybody else. And so I think from an offensive standpoint, you'll see a drop-off. You will not see a lot of deep passes. You're going to see kind of a typical rookie quarterback, get him a rhythm, even though he's not a rookie, get him in a rhythm, short passes, that kind of thing. Let the playmakers make plays. I mean, one of the good things, the Packers do have a lot of talent on offense, so I don't think it'll be a complete disaster. But it's going to be, this went from one of the matchups of the year to a game that could be very, very, very sloppy.
It should be interesting. You mentioned the talent that the Packers have in offense, and that will certainly help Jordan Love, having guys like Devontae Adams, then in the backfield, guys like Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, all productive players this year. When you're thinking about the things that Love does well offensively and that he has those weapons at his disposal, how can this Chiefs defense, is coming off perhaps their best showing of the year so far against New York last week, how can the Chiefs slow them down here on Sunday?
I mean, listen, it's pretty easy to slow down a rookie quarterback. You show him things he's never seen before because, by the way, he's never seen anything before. He's never started an NFL game before, so it's going to be easy to do that. And, Steve Spagnuolo will have all the respect in the world for him and his ability to show veterans things we've never seen before, let alone someone like Jordan Love. So I think you give him a bunch of different looks. The defense in Kansas City has been playing better each week. And that was one of the things, it's really interesting. I remember talking to a GM many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, because I had ripped a defense in September, and the GM called me and said, listen, modern defenses, with the way training camps are now, the way OTAs are now, modern defenses, as long as they stay healthy, get better every single week, or they should. If you're a well-run team, you practice well, you're going to get better every single week because you're not hitting in camp like you used to. You don't have the time to install a bunch of defensive things. You can't do a bunch of complicated things. And so it's almost like the early part of the season for defenses can almost be like a preseason, right? And so I like to see a defense that's playing better every single week. And, eye test and a little bit with the stats, it looks like that might be Kansas City right now. So I think it's kind of interesting kind of how this defense has gotten better over the past couple of weeks, and hopefully for the Chiefs' sake, the offense kind of matches up with that a little bit.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the offense here in a moment. I agree with what you're saying about the defense, though, because for the most part, these are the same guys that helped this team get to a Super Bowl a couple years ago and were quietly one of the better defenses in all of football last year. Look at the game last week against the Giants. On 5 of the Giants' 11 offensive possessions, they didn't gain a first down. And I understand the Giants aren't very good this year, but you got to play who's across from you, and the Chiefs did that last week and played really well against this Giants squad. Now, looking at the Chiefs' offense, offensively, it's been a bit of a struggle for a couple weeks, which is very uncharacteristic, to say the least, from this team. It's usually one of the most explosive offenses in football. They did enough to get the job done last week against New York, but now facing this Packers defense that has some playmakers, they're forcing the opposition to turn the ball over on 17% of possessions this year. So this defense has been very opportunistic. They're +8 in the giveaway takeaway. What's a matchup or two that you're watching between the Chiefs offense and the Packers defense on Sunday that could dictate the outcome?
Okay, so I will get to a matchup, but I'm just watching Patrick Mahomes. I'm just watching Patrick Mahomes because the way he navigates this, we've never seen him. Now, listen, there have been a couple of games, I think it was the Colts a couple of years ago, we said, okay, this is his worst game as a pro. He looked a little banged up at times. Obviously, the Super Bowl, we saw a different side of him, but that you can't blame him for that when he's just getting hit on every single play and getting pressure on every single play. But what's interesting to me is this is the biggest struggle he's ever had in his career. And I'm interested to see how he goes forward from here. Because, listen, this is not, and I've actually gotten a little bit angry reading some of the analysis where people say, oh, well, Mahomes can't figure out two deep safeties. Okay, well, listen, Mahomes was better against two deep safeties his entire career than any other defense going into the season. This is sort of a cocktail of things, and it's in some cases bad luck. And I saw a stat this morning that he's playing really poorly when he goes outside the pocket. He was amazing outside the pocket until very, very, very recently. And so this is adjustments that are going to be made. This is taking maybe more of the easy stuff, maybe a little more of the boring stuff, and maybe understanding that it's not going to be as free play as it has been when you go down the field. And so I think that there's just there's some adversity here that I think Mahomes is going to solve, and every quarterback has had it. Tom Brady's had it. Aaron Rodgers had it. In 2015, I remember Aaron Rodgers told, I think it was Peter King, he said he wanted to puke when he saw his tape in 2015. And every single quarterback goes through this. Mahomes is going through it now. And I think that whether he improves this year and gets back to where he was, or whether he takes an offseason or whatever, it's the most fascinating and will eventually be the best story in football, because he has his ability to get back to the mountaintop to me is as fascinating as it gets. Now, as far as actual matchups go, I'm intrigued. Listen, there's the Packers defense, as you said, it's really opportune. They struggle with some of the cornerback play. We saw that last week with Stokes, where he was kind of put in a torture rack by the Cardinals a little bit. And you can see there's going to be matchups here. There's going to be matchups. They're gonna have Amos and Savage as back and deep as possible with two safeties. We know that's settled. And then what happens underneath that is the matchup to watch. And I'll be really intrigued to see how they make those adjustments, knowing how defenses, I think in the NFL, no one is seeing more two deep safeties than Mahomes. How do they change the offense to sort of take the new approach, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes' struggles are kind of a microcosm of this team's struggles overall. It's been a battle this year and kind of a grind, but I think it says a lot about this team that they're 4-4 here at this point in the season, despite a lot of bad luck and some uncharacteristic struggles. And what better way to start the second half of the season than with a victory here at home against the Green Bay Packers. Kevin, awesome stuff, man, as always. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you.